Between 1969 and 2011, NASA built and flew 4 reusable orbital vehicles on 135 missions for 10 points each. Give the colloquial name for those vessels, one of which exploded in 1986.
Shuttle.
Prompt?
Space shuttle.
Yes. Name any one of the 4 space shuttles to complete an orbital flight.
Challenger.
Oh, complete one. Crap.
That I can take it. The space shuttles were launched from Launch Complex 39 of this NASA Space Center located near Cape Canaveral in Florida.
Kennedy Space.
Yes, Kennedy for 30 points. Toss-up 4. Johann X. Obelisks refuted this document, which was first sent to Albera Brandenburg, the Archbishop of Mainz. A primary target of this document was Johann Tetzel, a Dominican seller of indulgences. Name this 1517 list of grievances.
Martin Luther's thesis.
Can't prompt. -5. Written by Martin Luther. Time. Just made it.
The Wittenberg list.
Sorry, you need the 95 theses. 5. An expedition to this continent is undertaken by researchers from Miskatonic University in H.P. Lovecraft's novella At the Mountains of Madness. Explorers led by James Clark Ross discovered Mount Erebus on this continent. For 10 points, what continent contains the South Pole?
Antarctica.
Correct, Antarctica. Your bonus, Mariana. After a boring day at school, Milo comes home to discover a box containing a map of the lands beyond and a small toy. The toy is a model of this kind of structure. Is correct. Milo receives a mysterious toy in this author's novel, The Phantom Toll Booth.
Lawrence.
Norton Jester. When Milo passes through the toll booth, he is transported to Dictionopolis, one of the main cities of this kingdom. Its princesses are named Rhyme and Reason.
Knowledge.
Nope, the kingdom of wisdom. 10 points. Toss up 6. A novel by Alexander Dumas Phil inspired this composer to write an opera whose title translates as The Fallen Woman, about Violetta Valere. Another opera by this man depicts Radame's love for an African princess. Name this Italian composer.
Verdi.
Verdi is correct for 10, Graceville. Your bonus. This sport's governing council has only 10 full members qualified to compete for its test championship. Name this bat and ball sport whose test matches take 5 days.
Cricket.
Cricket's correct. A little louder. In a cricket match, each team has this many innings in which to score runs.
Let's guess 6.
Captain?
6.
2. One of the cricket's most storied rivalries, the Ashes, pits England against this country whose great players have included Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne. Captain?
India.
Australia. 10 points for cricket. Okay, pencil and paper. You'll have 10 seconds. Bertrand needs to know the value of the constant c in the expression f of x equals x squared plus 3x plus c, given that f of 2 equals 5. By substituting in the values of x equals 2 and f equals 5, he is able to compute for 10 points what value of c.
Negative 35.
No penalty.
5.
It's -5. No penalties. 8. For a week during a festival honoring this man, a comet shone that was popularly thought to be his soul. According to Suetonius, this man said, the die is cast as he crossed the Rubicon.
Julius Caesar.
Is correct for 10. Just Miss Power. Your bonus. At over 2,700 square miles, this city is the largest state capital by area. Name this capital of Alaska.
Juneau.
Is correct. Though it is much smaller in terms of area, this city, the most populous in Alaska, has almost 9 times the population of Juneau.
Anchorage.
Is correct. The Iditarod sled dog race begins with a ceremony in Anchorage and ends in this small town on the Seward Peninsula.
Sick bat.
Nome, Alaska. 20 points, however. 9. This language was used to describe a wondrous tree that symbolizes the cross and the dream of the Rood. Riddles in this language appear in the Exeter book. An epic in this language describes a Danish mead hall attacked by Grendel.
Old English?
Old English is correct for 10. Mariana, your bonus. Answer the following about the abbreviation MSG. Monosodium glutamate, often abbreviated MSG, is commonly used as a food additive to enhance this basic taste, whose name comes from Japanese.
Defer to Madison? Umami.
Umami is correct. Madison Square Garden is the home arena of this NBA team currently coached by Jeff Hornacek.
Defer to Matthew.
Knicks.
The Knicks is correct. The middle name of this last leader of the Soviet Union is Sergeyevich, making his initials MSG.
Gorbachev?
It's correct for 30 points. Toss up 10. We'll have an official score check so I can know what it is. In January 2016, this country refused entry to activist Rick O'Barry, whose 2009 film The Cove focused on this country's dolphin hunts.
Japan.
Japan's correct, and that's power for 15. Your bonus. In 1958, the government of this country announced that it would rapidly industrialize by pursuing a great leap forward, Gracefield. Name this country led by Mao Zedong.
China.
Correct. One goal of the Great Leap Forward was to produce this building material. Chinese peasants were encouraged to set up backyard furnaces to manufacture it.
Steel.
Is correct. China's leaders set a goal of catching this European country on the list of global steel producers within 15 years. In 1959, this country gave up much of its control over Singapore.
United Kingdom.
UK is correct for 30, and we're at 10.
155 for Mariana and 80 for Graceville at the half.
Okay, we continued on. 11. This jurist called United States Laboratories of Democracy in a 1932 decision. He is the namesake of a legal brief relying on social science data, which was used in Mueller versus Oregon. A Massachusetts university is named after, for 10 points, what first Jewish member of the Supreme Court?
Seinfeld.
Pardon?
Seinfeld.
No penalty.
Carnegie.
No, Justice Brandeis. No penalties. 12. In a story by this man, Yu Soon shoots Stephen Albert to communicate a secret message. This author of The Garden of the Forking Paths wrote another story that describes hexagonal rooms containing infinite numbers of books. For 10 points, what Argentine author wrote The Library of Babel?
Arrow.
No penalty. Time. It's Borges. 13. A baby on this TV show is initially called Kyle, but is renamed after the civil rights era poet Dudley Randall. This show's title group includes siblings nicknamed the Big Three, who were raised in the 1980s by Jack and Rebecca.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Sorry, -5. Mandy Moore stars in for 10 points, Mariana. What 2016?
Last Man Standing.
No penalty, but it's This Is Us. 14. These cells contain junctions called the nodes of Ranvier, which separate fatty bands called myelin sheaths. They have central soma with branching dendrites and contain...
Nerve. Nervous.
I can prompt on nerve.
Oh, nervous cell.
Sorry, -5. With branching dendrites and contain a projection called an axon. Electrical signals are transmitted for 10 points by what primary cell of the brain? Neuron is it. Your bonus. Identify these films characters named Buzz. Buzz Lightyear first appeared in this 1995 movie, which was Pixar's first feature-length film.
Toy Story.
Correct. Buzz is Kevin McAllister's tarantula-owning older brother in this 1990 film about Kevin's efforts to defend his house from two burglars on Christmas Eve.
Home Alone.
Correct, Home Alone. James Dean starred in this film as Jim Stark, a wayward teen who is challenged to a deadly game of chicken by a gang leader named Buzz.
Deferred.
Rebel Without a Cause.
Is correct for 30, Rebel Without a Cause. Toss up 15. This city's Zappeion Hall once housed a radio station. The port of Piraeus serves this city located in Attica. The Erechtheion is an ancient temple in this city. The first modern Olympics were held in this city, overlooked.
Athens.
Athens is correct for 10. Your bonus, Mariana. Answer the following about the study of insects. Formerly, the study of insects is known by what 10-letter name?
Etymology.
Entomology is correct. Nearly 40% of all known insect species belong to this order that is distinguished by hard wing covers.
Yeah.
It's an order.
Captain?
Defer to Matthew. Not Madison. I don't know.
It's beetles or Coleoptera. All or nothing. Name the 3 body divisions common to all insects.
Thorax.
Abdomen. And
Okay. Head, abdomen, thorax.
That's correct for 20 points. Toss up 16. This author asked if the reader would be calm and placid if you were full of formic acid in a poem about the ant. Another of his poems advises, if called by a panther, don't anther. For 10 points, name this author of comic verse who wrote that candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. Time. The name's Ogden Nash. 17. This hero angers a river god by clogging the Scamander with corpses of slain foes. He carried an ornate shield that Hephaestus made at the request of this hero's mother, Thetis. Hector was killed by this man.
Achilles.
What?
Achilles.
Achilles is correct for 10. Your bonus. This musical work's finale portrays the disappearance of the palace of the immortal Koschei. Name this 1910 ballet that features a syncopated 3/4 melody and a section portraying an infernal dance. Captain?
No answer.
The Firebird. This composer of the Firebird also wrote The Rite of Spring.
Tchaikovsky.
Stravinsky. This Stravinsky ballet, known for its changing meters, is divided into 2 parts, the adoration of the earth and the sacrifice.
No answer.
Rite of Spring. So sorry, no bonus points. Toss up 18. The garbage city slum in this metropolis is home to a large number of refuse collectors. The Hanging Church is a Coptic place of worship in this city. A museum in this city contains statues of Khufu and Akhenaten, who were both ancient pharaohs. Name this capital of Egypt.
Cairo.
Correct for 10. Your bonus, Mariana. Name these novels in which colorful cars appear. Daisy Buchanan drives a yellow Rolls Royce that strikes Myrtle Wilson in what novel by Fitzgerald?
The Great Gatsby.
Humbert is pursued by a man driving an Aztec red convertible in what Nabokov novel named after a young girl?
Lolita.
Lolita is correct. The chauffeur Bigger Thomas appreciates the color and style of a blue Buick owned by the Dalton family in this novel by Richard Wright. Captain?
No answer.
That would be Native Son. 20 points, though. Okay, penultimate question. We'll have a score check before 20. Following the Civil War, this woman ran a missing soldiers office in Washington, D.C. Her experience as the Army of the James head of nurses partly inspired her 1881 establishment of the U.S. branch of a humanitarian group. For 10 points, name this founder of the American Red Cross.
Clara Barton.
Is correct for 10. Mariana, your bonus. Physicists draw a fundamental distinction between quantities that are completely described by a magnitude and those that also have a direction. This six-letter term describes a quantity such as electric charge or kinetic energy that has no direction. Captain?
Your answer.
That's scalar. Distance is a scalar measure of total movement. This related vector quantity is the separation of a body's starting and ending positions. Captain? Displacement. This operation on two vectors returns a scalar indicating the length of the projection of one along the other.
Your answer.
Captain? No answer? Dot product. So no points on that bonus. And before the last question, our score is
So we have Mariana 220, Graceville 125 going into the last question.
and Mariana has the advantage. All right, question 20. In a 1944 book about a movement in American thought named for this man, Richard Hofstadter analyzed how this man's ideas were applied to the social realm. Herbert Spencer coined the term survival of the fittest using,
Darwin?
correct, for 10. Your final bonus, Mariana. Answer the following about the beginning of the Civil War. The war's first shots were fired during the siege of Fort Sumter, which is in what state?
South Carolina?
Correct. Thomas Jackson earned the nickname Stonewall at this first major battle of the war, which was a defeat for Union forces led by Irvin McDowell.
Bull Run?
Prompt.
First batter of Bull Run.
Correct. After the first battle of Bull Run, McDowell was removed from command and replaced by this man, who was the first commander of the Army of the Potomac,
Lee.
McClellan. But 20 points on your final bonus, and that's game and match.
So Marion, so the superintendent, Mr. Larry Moore, is going to actually present the award. So we have awards for the top 3, and these were based on the initial 5 rounds. So we're going to start with the third place individual, who is from Graceville, up here on the runner-up team, and that is Sierra Ennis.
Congratulations.
In second place, from the championship team of Mariana, is Caitlin Kennedy.
Congratulations, Kate.
Thanks, man.
Proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Yes. Thank you.
And the first place individual was from Sneed's High School, Morgan Johnson.
Way to go, Maureen. You took your.
Wow! What an honor.
What is that?
Can I get ours, please?
Yes.
Okay, and I guess you'll get it.
Winning team.
Who wants to hold it?
Y'all got a different trophy coming. I'll come get a picture.
No, this is perfect.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I'm gonna hold it.
When you were captain, you hold it.